Hey everybody, now you know what I look like on the weekends. So this is my awesome attire. I'm going to teach you how to take this curved bottom. So we're making curved platters, right, or plates. We've got to clean it up before we actually put any sort of decoration on because for me, I want to have a really nice smooth surface. I want to have good edges and I want to have all of that so that whenever I go to put my decoration on, I don't have to tinker with the plate too much because if I were to do that, then it would mess up my decoration. So you need a banding wheel, a needle tool, this thing called a cheese grater, okay, and also a red rubber rib. Now, if you have a banding wheel and your plate is too, like mine just barely fits, we have some people that are making really large plates. So there is this thing called a bat. If you have a large plate, you're going to need it. It is located at the back of the room underneath the plastic bag drawers. So there's like a plastic Tupperware drawer set that holds a whole bunch of plastic bags. If you look, the shelf underneath that, you're going to find these bats. It's just a flat plastic circle. And then what you can do is you can put your plate on top of that, right? So we've gone over the whole process of molding it. And remember, your clay needs to be pretty dry at this point. So now we're going to do a test here. First, I haven't even gotten into centering yet, but before we do that, let's test this. If I put a touch of pressure on, is it going to cave in? You don't want it to, all right? So like mine is sitting really firm because I, made it so. If your piece is caving in at all, take it, put it over on the grill, maybe 30 seconds. Take it off, test it again, okay? You don't want it to cave in. What we're going to do is we're going to shave the topmost bit so that it's nice and flat. So basically we're taking a little bit off of the thickness of the slab in order to make a flat on the bottom so that it can sit. Because right now if it were to sit, oh my goodness, it's going to rock everywhere, right? So it's going to rock everywhere. So what I'm going to do is take a look at it and even it out inside of my bat, making sure that it's really nice and careful. So east and west, I'm measuring with my middle fingers, which I mentioned to you guys the other day, and it's pretty even. Let's go north and south. Okay, we're going pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the bat gets centered on the wheel. So I'm going to go where the holes are for east and west, and I'm noticing that over here it's to this knuckle, but over here it's to this knuckle. So I have to shift it a slight bit toward my right. And then we'll measure again, looking pretty good. Now we're going to go north and south. And again, it's like really far over in this direction. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that it fits pretty evenly amongst my fingers. So I'm going to do that one last time. This way, one last time this way. Okay, now we're pretty good. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting it spinning. And I'm just going to really gently make a circle. I'm going to look at that circle. It's looking mostly centered. I'm actually going to adjust it a little bit. The circle is a little close to me on my side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kind of push the whole plate a little bit closer to me so that it gets a little bit more evened out. This is much better. So what I did was I drew a circle. I'm going to show you. I just sketched a circle in with my needle tool. It was very, very, very light. This is important because what your job is to do is to grate only within this circle, not outside of the circle. Okay, so basically what we're doing here, we're going to start grating. This grater is amazing. It's one of my favorite tools because you can take off literal millimeters of clay and it makes it look so, so good. So a couple of tips and tricks for you. Number one, it only goes one direction. Okay, so the part where Like if I go down with it, it's not feeling like it's grating. If I go up, it's going to grate. And also, like when you go to grate, if it doesn't have those little threads, it's not doing the job. So anyway, what we're going to do is start in the middle and circle it around. And you're going to get these threads kind of going everywhere. And I like to make a pile of them. In the middle of working, sometimes I'll blow them away and just kind of scrape them off. Okay, so this is midway through. I don't know if you can see it slightly. You can see how I'm getting kind of like the middle graded down. So I'm going to keep going, and every time I make a grading mark or like a grading stroke, pull, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to turn it so that I can evenly and equally work with it in that circle. We're trying to get it so that it's going nice and flat. And I'm just going to work until I hit the outer edge of the circle. So you can see this produces a lot of stuff. All of this is going to go into reclaim later on. I actually like to take all of the grading and put it onto the bat, and then take the bat over to reclaim, dump the shreds in, not the bat obviously, but that's how I clean up. I'm a pretty efficient cleaner upper because I make so many messes that it works out really well. So I have my efficient ways of doing things. Now if only everybody could see it my way. If only, right? All right, so I like what we've got going right now. So this is the status of the bottom. Okay, we have a circle, it's pretty wide. Now what I'm going to do is smooth it out. So you're just going to take it and buff this down with a red rubber rib. And that way the grading marks go away forever. You can get really into buffing this down. And now keep in mind, like, you can have some really nice smooth bottoms, but they also sit nice and flat. So again, this is going to strengthen up your clay. Notice I don't have any water that I'm putting on this right now. You can smooth without water. Yes, you can. So I'm smoothing the outer edge, the whole bottom, okay? And I'm watching where I put this plate now, because from here on out, like if you take this, turn it over and stick it in all of your shreds of clay, it's going to create that on the bottom. Also, like, so just be aware and be careful. Like, you see how there's like some dried up clay on this bat? In order for me to do the flip side, I'm flipping that over so that I can look at it. Now, I don't necessarily really like my rim. It's a little straight and I want to round it off. And so the time is now to do that. So you can do a couple of different things. My favorite thing, though, like you can take a dampish sponge and clean it up. My favorite thing, though, is to get this tinkered with here. So I'm actually getting rid of that top edge as I go. And if you see, I'm just working and working and working. It feels like you're shredding off your whole plate, but really you're not. Like, it's hardly anything that you're shredding off. You're just making it look rounder or better or cleaner, thinner. There's a lot of things that you can do to make it look a little bit more right. So I'm going to take the underside and do that. Going through. Almost done, sweet peas. Almost done. But do I really want to be done? Like, I could honestly grate for my whole life and feel like I haven't done enough grating because I love this kind of thing. It was super satisfying. Thank you very much for forcing me to come in on a Sunday and do this. So anyway, now what I'm doing is I'm just going to clean up this edge. And that is essentially all you have to do for today. If you get beyond this, then start thinking about what you actually want to put on your plate. It's going to be really exciting. So that was 10 minutes. Sorry about that. Thanks. See ya.